Once your sacrificial rod has loosened, you then use your spanner to undo and take off the freshwater inlet, and that will let you drain your water tank. Once empty, first step is to undo the 4 bolts holding in the heating element. As it's been about 10 years since my heater has been serviced, this is an example of how much calcium is in the water where I live, and this explains why the electric element was no longer effective at heating the water. It is so covered and caked in calcium that it no longer was able to put heat back into the water. While I did consider cleaning it with vinegar or calcium remover, it was made more sense to put a whole brand new one in at the cost of $35, as I'm already going to all the trouble of cleaning and emptying my water tank and putting in a new sacrificial rod. Next was removing the 6 bolts holding the large inspection plate, and I got to have my first look at the inside of my hot water tank. You can see all the calcium lying on the bottom of the tank, and the white bits, I believe, are meant to be a plastic holder that holds the end of the rod up that has just deteriorated and fallen apart over time. Next was removing the sacrificial anode, which thankfully had been loosened previously when the water tank was still full of its 300 litres of water. Otherwise there's no way you'd undo it without damaging all your fittings. Here you can see the old and the new anode and how much corrosion has happened with the old one, which, considering how old it is not too bad. Next I took the cover plate and the O-ring back down and put them in a bath of vinegar to dissolve the calcium. This is what it looks like after a couple of hours of soaking and just using a wire brush to remove the worst of the calcium. Thankfully I was able to reuse both those parts, including the O-ring, which saved me $100 a kit that I otherwise would have had to purchase. Next, grabbing my wet and dry vacuum cleaner, I used it to clean and suck up the remaining of the water and all the sediment at the bottom, but there were some large bits that needed to be picked up by hand as they were too big for the vacuum cleaner. After